بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. My respected brothers, as we go through life and as we grow older, we are most likely to encounter more and more scenarios where our back is against the wall, as they say, and a person has no solution. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It almost seems like the particular encounter has no solution and there is no way forward. There's just doom and gloom. So it could be a student up against a very tough exam, or even an examiner for that matter. Or it could be an individual who is afraid of losing their employment. And it just looks, the prospects look so dim that it's almost inevitable. Similarly, it could be a businessman who is hugely in debt, and there's just no way out of this mountain of debt. And as I say, these are situations that as we grow older, we are likely to encounter at some point in time. And I'm not shy to say that I myself have been in some of these situations. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for all of us. But today is a supplication and a dua made by, it's recorded by Imam Dhahabi, and it's a dua of Ibrahim ibn Adham, rahimahullah. This is a famous sage. He is not a companion of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was not a sahabi, he was not a tabi'i, but from the latter generation. So it is recorded by Imam Dhahabi about Ibrahim ibn Adham, rahimahullah, that he was once traveling on a ship, and the ship had been going through, it was calm, things were calm, things were going as normal and as expected, and everyone had gone to rest for the night, and suddenly winds started to blow, and waves are crashing against the ship. There's a massive storm raging, and the occupants of the ship, the inhabitants, they wake Ibrahim ibn Adham, realizing that the status of this individual in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They awake him and they ask him to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to seek assistance. So Ibrahim ibn Adham rahimahullah goes to the deck of the ship, and the ship there's a storm raging, and people are afraid. They are afraid that they are on the throes of death. There's just no way out. Back is against the wall. There is no way out. They're all doomed. It's finished. This is the end. So Ibrahim ibn Adham sincerely makes a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he says, Allahumma araytana qudrataka fa arina afwak. Allahumma araytana qudrataka fa arina afwak. Oh Allah, you have shown us your power and your might. Now display your pardon. And no sooner did the waves all subside, the winds calmed down, and everything was back to normal. And they continued on their journey. That was not the end of Ibrahim ibn Adham and not the inhabitants of that ship. So the focus is not so much on the individual himself. It is about the conversation he had and enjoyed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that time. When the back is against the wall, when the only thing an individual can do in helplessness is just cry. That's the only recourse one has. At that moment, that most vulnerable moment, when an individual has no alternative, there's just no light at the end of the tunnel. At that moment, the dua is weighty in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ibrahim ibn Adham in this particular dua is not saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you have shown us your punishment. He's saying you have shown us your might. This is an individual humbling himself before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is what we should be doing when we supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with utmost humility. We display our humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to individuals. This is the fallacy we've fallen into today. We display our humility to people, whereas our humility is before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anyway, he addresses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that you have shown us your power and your might. Now show us your pardon. What does pardon mean? Pardon means that it's something beyond forgiveness. If you think about it, when a new president is coming into power and the past administration imprisoned someone, the new administration, to win favor, they'll say, no, this particular individual who was imprisoned by the past administration, Let's free him. We grant him a presidential pardon. He doesn't deserve it, but we'll grant it to him just to win favor and to prove a point to the past administration. In the very same way, an individual, you and I, we don't qualify, we don't deserve the forgiveness and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we're saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dua, with utmost humility, that pardon us. And if you think about this dua, my respected brothers, we need this dua more now than ever before. Because we've seen what the past 18 months has done to us. We can't even say we are in the middle of a pandemic. We don't know. We don't know how long this is going to carry on. But with this said, my respected brothers, we know and we acknowledge, we don't even need to be exposed to the news right now to know that the entire world has been brought to its knees with something invisible. Something we can't see, we can't touch, we can't feel it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought the entire world to its knees through His power. So now is the time to make this dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma araytana qudrataka fa arina afwak. Oh Allah, you have shown us your power and your might. Now show us your pardon. Now forgive us. Now lift this pandemic. Now improve our conditions. This is the dua not only to be made now in a pandemic, but also in any circumstance that we find ourselves in and we are helpless. We have no solution. This dua reinforces our conviction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the sole solution provider. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the tawfiq and the ability of reciting these du'as, memorizing them. I understand that we do not interact with Arabic on a regular basis, so it's difficult to memorize the du'as on hearing it for the first time. So maybe one is our Imam can help us by reciting these du'as regularly and frequently. And the other is, inshallah, these recordings will be prepared and posted on a timeline and will be shared on the masjid group, inshallah, for brothers to go back to and try to memorize these du'as. Jazakumullah.